When Crocodile Dundee exploded onto the big screen in the 1980 seconds, it quickly became one of the most beloved adventure comedies of its time. Audiences were captivated by the larger-than-life Mick Dundee, a rugged bushman with an easy smile and fearless spirit. To the outside world, it seemed like nothing more than a feel-good story about the clash of cultures and the triumph of charm over sophistication. But just beneath the surface of this blockbuster success lay a shadowy side that many never knew about. The character wasn't simply a work of fiction. He was partly inspired by a real man whose life would end in tragedy, and the film itself carried behind-the-scenes stories that Hollywood never wanted to highlight. The man behind the legend, Rod Ansel, lived a life that sounded like it came straight from a movie script. He famously survived for weeks alone in the remote Australian outback, drinking cattle blood to stay alive and battling the elements with nothing but grit and instinct. His story caught the attention of the media and eventually helped shape the fictional Crocodile Dundee. But while the movie transformed that survival tale into a charming comedy, Ansel's real journey grew darker with each passing year. Struggling with poverty, disputes over land, and increasing isolation, he became a ghost of the bushman audiences thought they knew. His tragic death in a violent confrontation with police shocked Australia, casting a long, unsettling shadow over the cheerful legend his story had helped create. Even beyond Ansel's fate, the film itself wasn't as clean as it appeared. Behind the cameras, there were whispers of tension, disputes, and choices that would later be quietly erased. Certain scenes were softened, trimmed, or cut altogether. Moments that today might be considered insensitive or controversial were deliberately hidden to preserve the movie's family-friendly image. What audiences saw was the Hollywood fantasy, the crocodile wrestling hero, the romantic comedy beats, and the postcard images of the outback. What they didn't see were the messy realities, the compromises, the scandals, and the personal struggles of those tied to the story. As the years went by, the Crocodile Dundee brand continued to thrive, but the hidden cracks became harder to ignore. Fans celebrated the humor and charm of Mick Dundee, but the darker truth was that the film's real-life roots told a story of hardship, controversy, and a man who never truly shared in the fame his story inspired. Some of the film's early material has since been buried or rewritten to fit modern sensibilities, leaving behind only hints of what once existed. In the end, Crocodile Dundee remains a classic, a light-hearted adventure for millions around the world. Yet the full story behind it is far more complicated than most realize. The smiling bushman on the screen was a legend, but legends often come at a cost. What Hollywood delivered was a blockbuster hit. What it hid was a trail of pain, scandal, and tragedy that still lingers behind the myth of Mick Dundee.